Last night I had a dream, not a metaphorical one, an actual, middle of the night, slightly too vivid dream. Earlier that week, one of my mentees had been talking about power all week. What is the big deal about power, she asked me. Why does everyone go on about it? Is it really that important? And I did not have a great answer, not one that felt complete. So the question lodged somewhere deep in my head. Why do some people rise so easily in the world while others, just as capable, remain unseen? That night, I closed my eyes, expecting sleep, nothing more. Instead, my brain staged a lesson. The dream began in a vast open-plan office. People are rushing around with laptops and coffee cups, faces blurred at the edges, voices blending into static. And then I heard a voice behind me, calm, certain. Caoimhe, he said. The world really is more stacked against you if you are not well off or you come from a minority. And that is why you are dreaming about power. I turned. Standing there was Jeffrey Pfeffer, or at least my brain's version of him. You want to help people, Caoimhe, he says. You want to lift the ones the world forgets? Yes, I say. Of course. Good, he said. Then you need to understand the force that decides who rises and who does not. This is the story of power. He gestured for me to follow. We walked into a glass meeting room overlooking a city that looked a bit like Singapore. Caoimhe, I once knew a woman, he said, who did everything right. She was brilliant, hard-working, disciplined. She believed in fairness. She believed that if she stayed humble and did the work, the world would eventually reward her. But while she quietly carried the weight of the workplace, another man less capable was rising. Not because he was better, not because he cared more. He understood something she didn't. He made himself more visible. He walked into rooms as if he belonged there. He spoke even when his ideas were only half formed. He always raised his hand. He asked for many opportunities instead of hoping to be discovered. He was not more talented. He was simply seen. Pfeffer looked at me. That is when I realized something most people never learn, he continued. The world does not reward the best. It rewards the visible. Visibility beats talent almost every time. Think about students at Harvard or Yale, he went on. They have former presidents dropping in for lunch, billion-dollar founders giving guest talks. They listen to Bill Clinton on a Tuesday. They meet CEOs before they have even graduated. They do not rise just because they are superior human beings. They rise because they are connected. They are plugged into a circuit of power. Most people lose the game, he said, because they do not know they are in one. And it is the same in companies like Google, Apple, and Facebook, he said. Power circulates through the business. Leaders drop by for talks. Favors are traded in coffee chats. Conversations that can change someone's entire career happen while they are walking back from a meeting. But what about everyone else, he asked, tilting his head slightly. The people with no inherited network, no polished ancestry, no invisible safety net. They have talent. They have grit. But the world has given them no map. Pfeffer took a breath. Let me tell you something uncomfortable, he said. Most people are taught to fear power because they have only ever seen it abused. They think of corrupt politicians, dictators, billionaires treating the world like a chessboard. So they learn early. Power is dangerous. Power is dirty. Power is for other people. Well, it's not. If you want a better life, if you want less stress, if you want to make real change, if you want to rise through systems that were not built for you, then you must stop being ashamed of wanting influence. Influence feeds opportunity. I once watched a man come into a company with no connections, he said. No pedigree, no wealthy parents, nothing inherited. He built everything from scratch, but he did something most people never do. He paid attention. He built relationships slowly, respectfully, intentionally. He listened more than he spoke. He found ways to be useful to powerful people without groveling to them. And within 5 years, he had risen faster than colleagues who had been there for decades. Most people think they have to be perfect to rise, he said. But rising has very little to do with perfection. It has everything to do with presence, with being on the minds of the right people at the right moments. This is where people from disadvantaged backgrounds get trapped, he went on. They are taught that humility is noble, that speaking up is arrogance, that being quiet is professionalism. They think consistency is enough. They think the work will speak for itself. He shook his head. But humility without visibility becomes invisibility, and invisibility is the enemy of progress. Silence is not always humility, he said. Very often it is self-erasure. He stood and walked slowly around the table. You have to build a reputation, a brand, a sense of identity that makes people remember you, not because of ego, but because memory is the currency of opportunity. You cannot choose someone you cannot recall. Let's take Stephen Bartlett's story and how he used the 7 rules of power. First, he got out of his own way. He could have said, I am too young, too poor, too inexperienced. Instead, he moved anyway. That is what getting out of your own way looks like, Pfeffer said. Acting before you feel fully ready. Second, he knew what he wanted. He had direction, built a business, built a platform, built a voice. That is a great goal development plan there. Third, he was bold enough to break the rules. Conventional wisdom says, get a safe job, climb the ladder, wait your turn. But he dropped out and built social chain instead. Rule breaking, when it is deliberate, makes you memorable. And in this world nowadays, being memorable matters. Fourth, he showed up in a powerful way. His style, his tone, the way he speaks, the way he dresses, none of that is accidental. He is sending a signal. I take myself seriously, and you should too. Fifth, he created a powerful brand. When you hear his name, you do not think random businessman. You think diary of a CEO, long-form conversations, vulnerability and ambition in the same breath. Sixth, he networked relentlessly. He did not wait for invitations to glossy studios. He started his podcast under a staircase. Cheap equipment, no guarantee. Episode by episode, conversation by conversation, he built a web, said Pfeffer. Guests, mentors, collaborators. He invited people into his world long before it looked impressive from the outside. He did not wait for the world, he said. He built his own stage under the stairs. And then, he continued, when the platform grew, he used his power. That is the 7th rule. Once people listen to you, once you have reach, the question becomes, what do you do with it? Bartlett brings on thinkers, founders, psychologists, leaders, Pfeffer said. He opens conversations most people would never otherwise hear. That is what using power well looks like. Enabling access, opening doors, widening the circle. People look at Stephen Bartlett now and imagine it was always like this. The studio, the guests, the numbers. They do not see the staircase, the fear, the early episodes that could have disappeared into the void. That is exactly why he is useful, he said. He was not born into it. He behaved his way into visibility. Pfeffer moved behind my chair, resting his hands lightly on the back of it. People cringe at the word networking, he said. They imagine manipulation, transaction, sleaze. But real networking is generosity. It is asking, who can I introduce you to? What knowledge can I share? How can I help this person move one step further? You build power the same way you build trust, through consistency and contribution. The lights outside flickered, the way dreams bend time. Do not chase power blindly, he said at last. Everything has a price. Power gives you opportunity, but it steals privacy. It gives you influence, but it demands sacrifice. People will study your life, your relationships, your choices. Your family will feel the pressure. Your mistakes will not be private. So before you climb the ladder, he said, look down, understand the cost. He turned fully to face me, and in the strange logic of dreams, it felt like the whole city paused to listen. More people need power, he said, not fewer, especially the ones who were never invited into the rooms where decisions are made. Just before he disappeared, he spoke one last time. Learn how power works, he said, and you will never again be completely powerless in your own life. And then the dream let me go. I woke up with one sentence echoing in my mind. If the game is already stacked, why would you play it small? If this conversation speaks to you, do 2 things. First, go to the source. Read Jeffrey Pfeffer's 7 Rules of Power, or Power, Why Some People Have It and Others Don't. Second, ask yourself a harder question. Where am I hiding? Is it in meetings where you stay quiet? in work you do brilliantly but never show, in the opportunities you want but never ask for. This week, choose one place where you've been small on purpose and do one uncomfortable thing that makes you visible. Ask for the opportunity. Say what you want. Put your name forward. Send the message you've been avoiding. It does not have to be huge. It just has to be real. Power skills were never meant only for the already powerful. They are for you, especially if the world did not expect you to rise. Learn them, use them well, and you do not just change your career, you change what is possible for everyone watching you. And this is Caoimhe from 10 Mentors. Until next time, take care and have a great week.